Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to another COVID-19 Chronicles episode. This is a special opening scene for this episode. As you can see, I am in on church property here, and the reason why is because I am actually going for my first COVID-19 vaccine dosage. Yeah, quite a surprise here. I didn't mention that in the last episode, but that was what I ended the last episode on, that this was going to be something that I was going to look forward to. And I just arrived here. Not a whole ton of cars. It's not like it's super crowded like a mega vaccination site. I have my appointment in about 11 minutes, so I must get going. But it's pretty exciting for me to take this next step, and I can't wait to see what happens, and I'll report back when it's all done. Okay, folks, I'm back home, and I can't believe I did it. And it was quite a fast process as well. I was pretty surprised at how efficient everyone was at all the tables and all the stations there. Um, I was pretty much just in and out in less than 40 minutes. So now I have to wait a month before getting the next vaccine. So that will take us into mid to late April when I'm going to get that second dosage. And if you're wondering what vaccine I got Moderna. Hello again. It's Monday, April 12th. And oh, what a busy time it has been for me, on top of continuing to monitor the side effects now that it has been 3 weeks since receiving the Moderna vaccine. You recall in the opening clips of this episode that were filmed back on March 22nd that I received the vaccine at a local megachurch. It's very convenient indeed for this vaccination site to be located only 2.5 miles away from my house. While I didn't really have any time to explain in full detail my experience of receiving the vaccine, but I will say that it was smooth, silky, concise, a very organized process that got me in and out of that megachurch in under 40 minutes. In 1 week from today, I'm going to be getting the second dose of the Moderna vaccine. I feel excited, albeit with a little bit of trepidation because of the side effects that have been reported with that second dose. While I won't bore you with the play-by-play of the 40 minutes that I was there at that megachurch in great detail, what I will tell you is exactly what happened over the course of these past 3 weeks since getting the first shot. So, when I got home, my upper arm, my left arm, felt a little bit sore, precisely near the injection site. But that's typical for me, even when I get my annual flu shot. And I'd say that lasted for about 48 hours. Then the next several days, my arm felt pretty normal, nothing out of the ordinary. But then, 1 week later, March 29th, I started to feel my left arm get achy once again. Accompanying that ache was a slightly itchy skin. I had my mother check it out, and she spotted a red blob that looked like a rash around the injection site. She wasn't surprised. After all, both of my parents got the Moderna vaccine as well, and my dad in particular also had this slightly pinkish rash around his arm as well. While I was concerned somewhat, I was still able to carry out my daily activities. Which included going to work in person, shopping, and also playing basketball, especially in the warm weather that we've been experiencing the last several days in my town. As of today, the rash has since disappeared. And I'd like to think that that was a sign that the first dose is doing what it's supposed to do. And a subsequent search on the internet yielded many reports that Moderna recipients also had the Moderna rash, and that health experts say that the second vaccine should still be taken as scheduled. That second vaccine, though, from what I heard from my parents, is the one that is the real kicker. Both my mother and father experienced a slight fever, chills, a little bit of fatigue, very reminiscent of what one feels when they get the flu or the cold. And the reason is that the immune system, after creating antibodies from the first dose, is going to have to fight to make more antibodies. So think of the first shot as a winding up of the pitch, and the second one is throwing the pitch. After my second shot, it's an additional 14 days before I'm considered to be fully vaccinated for maybe at least 200 days, which is roughly 6.5 months. While the side effects may be unpleasant, I'd rather have 2 shots that have been proven to work well, even though it's not perfect, than 1 shot that appears to have more shortcomings than the rest. And that's what I've been hearing recently regarding Johnson & Johnson's 1-shot vaccine. Some recipients have still tested positive for the coronavirus and got awful symptoms despite being fully vaccinated. Now granted, the vaccine does not prevent you from getting SARS-CoV-2, but it's one thing to get an infection because you happen to have fallen into that, minuscule 5% chance that you will still get COVID. But it's another because the vaccine that was administered was a dud, because maybe it wasn't stored properly, or maybe there was some production or manufacturing slip-up. That's what's happening currently with the J&J vaccine, with a steep decline in vaccines administered because of production problems in Baltimore. It'll certainly be interesting to see if more people get symptomatic COVID infections despite being fully vaccinated from Johnson & Johnson in the coming weeks. And right now, as of April 12, here are the numbers, latest numbers as of 10:20 p.m. 136,493,176. Let me say that again. 136,493,176 cumulative cases since the Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Resource Center first started tracking these cases. Global deaths now approaching 3 million, 2.94 to be exact. 2.94 million people have now succumbed to the virus, including 562,521 in the U.S. alone. Despite the high numbers, it's still a virus with a very, very low fatality rate. But we are currently in another surge. I think that the rest of April will be a brutal month, and then into the first part of May. And then as we get towards I feel like that as we get towards Memorial Day weekend, as the weather starts to get warmer, as more people start to go out, and as more people start to get vaccinated, we're going to have a little bit of a more stabler and calmer summer before another possible wave flares up as new variants continue to get introduced into the population for the fall and winter months. Okay, folks, here we go again, right outside the megachurch vaccination site at the outskirts of my town where I had my first vaccine about 28 days ago. Ready for my next one. That's why I'm here. So, 141,539,134 total cases as of April 19th, 2021, with just over 3 million deaths worldwide. So we're still in the thick of this pandemic. The UK strain is now the dominant strain in many parts of the US. But fortunately, today's the day where people as young as 16 are now eligible for the vaccine. So progress being made, more people being vaccinated every single day. right now my clock says 11:39, so I'm just slightly early. But I got my vaccination card ready. I got my IDs and all the confirmation emails, or the confirmation email. So I'm just about ready to go. Once again, I can only film here in this car because I cannot take any pictures or video inside the venue itself. So wish me luck. Right? Second vaccine, Moderna. Let's make it work. Okay, folks. So right now it's just about 1:50, just a little bit past 1:50 in the afternoon. So it's been just over 2 hours since getting my second dose. And yes, at the vaccination site, I got this sticker. I got my COVID-19 vaccine. So this time with this second vaccine, the arm soreness actually isn't that bad. When I got the initial dose back on March 22nd, I had a soreness right around the injection site that was a bit uncomfortable, that I didn't want to lift my hand. This time, there is no immediate soreness, although I am starting to feel just a little bit of aches at this moment that I'm recording this. The arm is mainly just slightly stiff. Just so you know, 2 different nurses administered the shot, but I don't think the way that the nurses administered the shot had anything to do with what I'm feeling now. But either way, I'm glad that I got this out of the way. And obviously, you can't really tell what's going to happen since it's only been 2 hours after the shot, but as of now, I don't feel anything out of the ordinary apart from the stiff arm. The dilemma for me now is, I have work later in the Princeton area today, as you know, or if I haven't, might have said this at some point during my COVID-19 Chronicles episodes in the past, that I do teach piano lessons, one-on-one piano lessons, and today in particular I have a mix of hybrid and in-person lessons, which will require me to drive down 25 miles to the Princeton area. But since I'm feeling fine, and I don't, I can't really make a prediction if I'm gonna feel a really bad crash or not, but I'm actually gonna go into work. And if I at all start feeling the side effects that have been reported from other recipients of Moderna, perhaps I might be allowed to come back home ASAP. But I'll bring myself plenty of water, some Tylenol, and vitamin C just to be on the safe side. But let's look at the bright side of things. 2 weeks from now, I can declare that I'm fully vaccinated, because it takes an additional 14 days after the second dose for that to become effective. The timing could not have come at a more perfect, couldn't have come more perfectly, with the weather starting to get warmer, spring in full swing, and I've always promised myself that each summer I will work hard and become healthier, and I really want this summer to count, since I missed last year due to the pandemic and obviously no vaccines yet. And now that I will be fully vaccinated, it'll be safer for me to push the boundaries a little bit more, push my body a little bit more, while still maintaining careful interaction with people that I meet with face to face, and of course, wearing the mask. So, that's a brief update from me. I'll update you folks after work, which will probably happen around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and hopefully I'm not too fatigued. Good evening. It's now just a little bit past 11:15 p.m., almost a full 12 hours since the second vaccination. Now, currently, I'm actually not feeling too bad. My arm got really sore again, the same kind of soreness where if I try to reach up, there's a little bit of discomfort, just like the first shot. But I'm not too fatigued, and I hope I actually feel that same way tomorrow morning, because it's going to be a nice 75-degree day with plenty of sun, and I do not want to pass up that opportunity to do some outdoor activity. It's a good day to do something as simple as a walk, but trying to do any really hard activities such as basketball won't be the most prudent thing, that's for sure. Not after just getting that second shot and just having to see how the side effects are going to play out, if there will be any further side effects. So, an interesting tidbit for you. The fact that I got my second vaccine on this very date is actually interesting. Back when I scheduled my first dose for March 22nd, little did I know that my second dose would be scheduled for today, April 19th, which I didn't find out until I got the first shot and I was told 28 days after March 22nd, and that would be today, April 19th. Well, it just so happens that April 19th is exactly 4 years to the day that I performed my college senior recital. Back when times were a little bit less miserable, 2017, unlike in today's world. It was a fun moment in my young life to share my musical talent with all my friends and family. In fact, you can actually check out the entire recital on my music channel, Mark Joe Music. The link will be provided in the description below. So, it's amazing how 4 years can just breeze by like a flash. To think that 4 years ago, I celebrated one of my milestones in my young life, a very happy moment, and now here we are in a very trying time in our society. This era of attrition, with the COVID pandemic still wreaking havoc around the world. You know, that little glimmer of hope, a bright spot, if you will, to be able to get my second vaccine on the 4-year anniversary date of my other happiest moment of my life. So, to change things up a little bit for this episode, let me provide a short clip of one of my pieces from that senior recital 4 years ago to the day. And coming up next after that is the conclusion for episode 27. Honestly, just like how everyone probably feels right now, I'm tired and I've had it with this pandemic. When this pandemic first began, the creative juices were flowing to where I was cranking out one episode a week documenting this pandemic from my point of view. But now, with just over one third of the country fully vaccinated and many more things opening up, I want to be able to go back to doing the fun stuff here on my channel and, of course, on Mark Joe Music as well. This episode literally spanned from my first vaccination back on March 22nd to today, May 3rd, exactly 14 days after my second vaccination, which, by the way, makes me officially vaccinated for maybe 6 months, hopefully maybe more. So that's 42 days in total that I took to film just this episode, episode 27. And I feel great, to be honest. I was outside shooting hoops for almost an hour, and I didn't feel any other residual effects from that second Moderna dose other than the aches and fatigue that I would say are equal to that of a tough gym workout. I wasn't confined to my bed. I was able to go to work. Just had to fight through a little bit of that soreness. But other than that, everything is totally fine for me. And so I've decided that I'm going to put this series on hold. Now, that doesn't mean that I will stop making episodes entirely. The pandemic is still raging on, especially in different parts of the world. You look at the news and you see what is the crisis that's going on in India right now. A lot of devastation, and you just gotta feel for the people over there with all those hospitals just, on the brink of capacity and the whole entire healthcare system buckling. And who knows if the world is going to undergo another round of coronavirus. Well, I certainly hope not. With the hot summer weather upon us, I'd like to go out, enjoy life, and, make new videos that's certainly not related to this COVID-19 pandemic. I have my music career to think about, and also the direction, thinking about what I want to do for the future of GameboyTV. And so with that, I want to thank you for watching another installment. It's been a great ride for each and every one of you who has tuned into this series since this pandemic first began. I'm very glad to have taken you on my own personal journey through the pandemic. And certainly, this is something that's historic that will be remembered for many, many years to come. And so with that, thank you. And a big thank you to our essential workers continuing to work around the clock to combat this pandemic, from the doctors and nurses directly involved in treating patients to everyone who is involved directly in the vaccination process. A big thank you from me. So stay safe, everyone, and thanks for watching.